Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask Gigi. My name is Tom Alexander, and as always, I am joined by...
Hi.
The one, the only... Gigi Stetler. And we're up and running, Gigi. Man, it was an adventure, a real mission to get connected today. A bit of a technical hiccup, but here we are.
But I'm so proud of myself. Like, I am the most technically challenged individual out there. I have a Mac and it is so complicated. And the whole time I thought it was your audio and you were going crazy, pulling your hair out, and it was mine. Yeah. But I just started pushing a whole bunch of buttons. I have no idea. I'm surprised.
When in doubt, just push a bunch of buttons, except for the red one. Never push the red button, because apparently that sets off all kinds of problems. But
I guess
in the movies, you never push the red button, you know.
Anyway, so here we are.
Here we are. And another edition of Just Ask Gigi, aka Camping World Nightmares.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess there's a couple more stories going on. You know, it's funny, before we dive into that, lots of posts on the Facebook page, on our Facebook page, and a lot of people sort of hopping on the bandwagon, on the train. And in terms of complaining and having either directly had an issue themselves, or someone close to them, someone they know, having had an issue with Camping World, and it can be a variety of things, right?
Well, you know, and I guess normally I don't like to beat a dead horse,
yeah.
But I think a bunch of things are happening here. A lot of the people that have reached out to us on the victimsofmarcuslemonis.com website and posting their stories, between that and some of the stories that I had in cases that I had been working previously, we're getting attention, and that's the point, and that's what we want. You know, our voices are getting heard, and I've actually have a couple of victims, and we're going to label them as victims because that's what they are. I have a couple of victims that have actually immediately, after I gave them a little hint of a few things to do, they immediately, and I've made some calls myself, gotten phone calls from manufacturers, you know, trying to step up and resolve the issues.
Right.
So we're getting somewhere, you know, and I have one customer in particular that we had helped draft a letter and get it out to people of interest, and the vice president of the Marcus Lemonis task force of whatever, complaint board or whatever, anyway, but they're reaching out and calling and trying to resolve the issues. So which I don't think it's going to, we have another option, but their attempt to resolve the issues came down to as a threat. They threatened our victim to cease all communications with me and our organization and stuff, and it came down as like almost like a threat. So you know, I kind of what do they say, squeaky wheel gets the grease. So we just got to keep going, because I think that it's the only way we're going to resolve these issues, all of them. And unfortunately, half their dealership stores are empty of inventory, which is really scary. That means it all went to unsuspecting first-time buyers that have no idea what they're in for. So anyway, that's just, we got to keep doing what we're doing so that we can prevent a few all new potential victims.
Yeah. It's just it's been a lot, And obviously, just a couple of weeks ago, we had, well, actually, it took about a month or so, maybe not even quite a month, for Shalene McNair's, which from the time she was on the show, she and her husband were on the show, and until the matter was 100% resolved. So you were able to get
She
that.
got all her money back and all her interest payments, everything. RV returned to Camping World, and more of those to come. So I wanted to bring up something very important for all of you that have a potential, that have a problem and are victims and have financed your RV through Camping World. I want to hear from you. If you have issues, ongoing issues, your RV still sitting at Camping World and you financed it, please send us a message, either at the info at the RV Advisor, or post your story on the victimsofmarcuslemonis.com, because I have some good news for you guys. I'm really working hard to get you out of those contracts, or at least have some recourse. So send, everybody that has financing and making payments on something you can't use, reach out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the help is there, and together we can, obviously we can fight this, and continue to just really act in the best interest of the consumer. And really that's what, RVA does. That's what the RVACA does. We'll tell you a little bit more about the RVACA at the end of the show, but we're really most interested in just providing support for the consumer, right? Yeah, and guidance. Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much, there's like, and so many other shows that we've talked about on purchases, and on the upside, I mean, RVs are hottest thing out there right now, everybody's shopping for RVs. The fact the manufacturers are a little bit in a pinch right now. There's from what I hear, there's over 600 new campers built, sitting at the factory, I believe at Forest River, with no windows, no furniture, no appliances. So it's an issue right now. So beware right now of any new product that's been manufactured, and you could tell on the side of the sticker of the RV, it'll tell you the date of manufacture, right where it has the GVWR. It's on the off door side by the front, by the hitch.
Right.
And it'll tell you the manufacture date. Anything that was manufactured after, I would say, March 31st, in that April, May, and up to now time frame, you really want to give it a once over. And I'm not saying to beware, but you want to, because there were a lot of situations at the factory where they were shut down, missing parts, things like that. So be careful and do a really thorough inspection on your walkthrough. And if there is anything owed to you or something broken, and the dealer wants to sign basically an IOU or put it in writing that they owe you certain parts and stuff like that, you might want to check with us. If you're a member, we'll be happy to look at that what they owe you. And I could tell you if that stuff is in the near future, 6 months from now or something like that. I got 2 units in today without faucets, so without kitchen faucets. Yeah. So it's just what's happening right now. So right. I mean, the Home Depot sells the faucets, and I'm going to go put them in, but I just want everyone to be aware of what's going on, and that doesn't mean you don't purchase it. And if you're comfortable with your dealer, and if you're dealing with a smaller mom and pop type dealership, you will have a better luck of getting those parts faster than the big box retailers, because those retailers, if they promised you a spare tire bracket or blinds or this or that, if they promised you, I can guarantee you they promised 500 other people. So just kind of just be prepared, and and it's not you know, it's no one's fault. It's just, you know, right now everyone is just trying to make do and get product on their lot. So just be aware of what you're dealing with, you know, and know that person that you're going to do business with, you know, that they're going to do their best to get it to you faster. But I think that your smaller dealers are going to be able to get it to you faster.
Well, there you go. It's important to kind of, you know, take in all this information and like you said, Gigi, you know, be prepared, and you know, and please know that if you are having any kinds of issues, you know, we're here, and we'll do our very best to you know, start to rectify those problems. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with your questions right here on Just Ask Gigi. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. Back in a moment. RVCA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of RV owners. With your help, we'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality controls in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVCA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org. We are back on Just Ask Gigi, along with Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander, and Gigi, we've got a few questions, but before we get to those, we do want to acknowledge, as we're recording this, you know, the Texas-Louisiana border is bracing for a storm of historic proportion coming in. Laura is coming in as a 4, which is a monster storm.
Yeah.
And
aren't we close to the Hurricane Katrina in 2005? I believe was like August 24th, wasn't it? I was there on the ground.
I know August is pretty, you know, pretty famous for,
Yeah.
you know, well, I mean, certainly Andrew here hit South Florida in August. You know,
Maybe it was Andrew that was August 24th.
Yeah, it was Andrew. That's right. Katrina was like in October. Katrina was in October.
You're right. I remember a big storm being August 24th, that date.
Yeah.
But I think Katrina was October. But
one of the all-timers, that's for sure.
I just, you know, I'm praying for them, and I hope it hits a lot of like very, you know, kind of rural areas where it misses a lot of, you know, homes and companies and stuff like that. It's New Orleans, you know, is so ground zero already. They're so low. They just can't, you know, handle another levee breach or any of that. So I hope it's not a soaker. If it's a quick, you know, wind in and out would be better than a soaker, because, you know, those levees, you know,
and it's such a long-term thing.
Well, I'm wishing them all well and be safe and all of that, and
absolutely,
and we'll keep them in our
prayers. We've got a
prayers.
lot of folks that watch us, listen to our podcast and everything, that are from that region, and we know a lot of people like to do their RVing, I should say, there. And in that,
well, I hope no one's in an RV during this storm. They need to, you know, get out of harm's way. Don't think that your RV, even if you tied it down, can withstand a category 4, you know, not even a category 1. So please be safe. You know, that's what RVs are for. Get in it, get out of, get in your RV and drive out of there, away from the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. So please, if you're facing that storm, please be careful, stay safe in this stay safe year of 2020. Wow, what a year. We've got some questions. For you here on Just Ask Gigi. Dave writes, what do you know? What can you tell us, I should say, about hybrid trailers? Are you a fan or not? Interesting question.
For personal use, no. But for, I mean, they have a purpose, you know, towing and storing specifications. They do have a purpose. I personally, I don't have a preference, but there's, like I said, if you have a weight restriction or usually storage where, you can only park, 22 feet. And when you open the back of the camper or the side of the camper or whatever, it could be 26 or 28 feet. So, it does have its benefits. But look at all of your options. And what I would suggest is to write down on a piece of paper why a hybrid trailer is necessary, and then weigh your pros and cons of storing it versus, the benefits.
Gotcha. Yeah. Marcy writes, today we see computerized everything. Are you concerned that this is the more potential for breakdowns? In other words, I guess more to go wrong because everything's computerized. What's your take on that?
Oh, to be honest, you're right. Yes, the systems are quite sophisticated and complicated and computerized. When you have that central control board that does your jacks, automatic levels. I've worked on quite a few. You just got to really know the system. I'm electronically challenged, as you all know. I couldn't even turn the speakers on my computer. So it's actually, when I start to look at that system and try to diagnose it, I'm scratching my head because it's so new. Yeah. So, and my techs are reading up on it and stuff. So Lippert does make a good system, and they do have a good online support system, people that will talk to you, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and can walk you through it. But the systems are complicated. You want to make sure that you get a really thorough walkthrough. Although I have to say the owner's manuals are very thorough. So just make sure that whatever you purchase, look for all the manual overrides and make sure that there is a way to manually override the jack system, because that's really the most complicated. So if your jacks are stuck in the down position, you can't leave. So you want to make sure that there is some type of manual override that you could do.
Our final question is from Luis, and he writes, it's interesting. Salt water on the exterior. If you live in an area that you're near a bay or an ocean or wherever you are where there's a lot of salt water, the salt air, does that create a problem for your exterior?
It actually does. It's kind of almost the same thing as up north as it is here. Like when we get units, like when we had Hurricane Irene down in the Keys, and I had a whole bunch of units down there that were down in the Keys, which are right on the water, right. And they came back full of rust. So they get surface rust underneath, and the salt does turn the fiberglass yellow. So if you can just keep it rinsed all the time, just keep washing it, and try to hose down the underbelly best you can. I think you could spray a product on the bottom, like Rust-Oleum under the frame, to where the salt water won't stick to the frame, because that's what it does. It sticks in it. It's surface rust for the most part. It's different than up north. Yeah. It's more of a surface rust, so it's not it just it looks terrible, and someone would resale value, and someone would think that it was in a flood. So you have to be careful. But the fiberglass, it does turn it yellow. Aluminum siding trailers actually hold up better in the salt than fiberglass. Just the underbelly, like I said, and all of the frame, you'll get surface rust on it very quickly.
Right. Great. Well, that's a big help. Very interesting questions this week from Dave, Marcy, and Luis. We appreciate it. If you want to write in and ask Gigi a question right here on Just Ask Gigi, all you got to do is send it to that's info at thervadvisor.com. Info at thervadvisor.com, and just put in the subject line question for Gigi, or JAG, JAG, which we call it around here, JAG question, and not a problem. We can get that on the show and hopefully get your question. I don't think I've ever heard you not be able to answer a question so far. And we've had some doozies. We've had some challenging questions.
Also, I've had to scratch my head a couple of times.
Well, you just maybe collecting your thoughts, but you always come through with a great, useful, helpful answer. So that's great. And that's, hybrid trailers, I guess, is sort of they kind of came along a little after hybrid cars, I would imagine, right? I mean, this was something that was sort of something in development for a while. They haven't been around forever, right? Hybrid trailers?
There's a hybrid. We're not talking hybrid as an engine. At least I don't think what the gentleman was talking about, as in hybrid engine. Hybrid trailer is an expandable.
Okay, I got you. All right, well, then
and that's what I was answering. So if it's a hybrid RV, like as in motorized, then that's an entirely different question. And, but I don't.
That's interesting because you answered the question that way, and I'm thinking, I'm immediately thinking, something you plug in, but apparently
like my car. No.
But I'm sure that's something, a fifth wheel, anything that's self. That you're not attached to anything, right? Anything.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that question was for an expandable.
Expandable.
Trailer.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, there you go. Well, it wasn't specified in the question, so Anyway, there you go. It's like that's why you're the expert, and I'm just the liaison between the person that's maybe just thinking about getting into RVing and the person who knows it all. On that note, we will tell you that we can tell you that if you're very interested in helping out with, well, first off, registering your vehicle, you can do it at rvaca.org. That's rvaca.org. And of course, that is also the place to go. If really, it's for the consumer. We've talked about this before. You've got the manufacturers organization and you've got the dealers organization, and they have seats in Washington. And we're looking to get a seat in Washington for you, the consumer, the RV owner, the RV enthusiast, and that's the rvaca.org. And also, as we've been mentioning these past several months now, if you want to help provide temporarily an RV for isolation use for people on the front lines battling COVID, you can do it there. Or if you don't have an RV, you can make a monetary donation there at rvaca.org. That's rvaca.org. On that note, we move on. We learn about hybrids, something that was a takeaway for me. And
maybe we're both wrong, so I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, who knows?
I've been known to be wrong before.
Maybe it's one of those Star Trek things where it's part human, part Borg or something. Who knows what the heck's going on? All right. So on that note, we'll say goodbye for another week. Gigi, thanks so much. As always, it's a blast doing this with you.
Yep.
And the program is Just Ask Gigi. She is Gigi Settler. I'm Tom Alexander. We'll see you next time. Stay safe. Stay well, everybody. So long.